ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this live. I'm Alana from Win-Win, and we are going to be answering a ton of different questions that you guys have been asking us after yesterday's live about how you can get a mining job. Hi Stano, how you going? If you've got any questions, I'm just waiting for my special guest to jump on, so feel free to drop any questions about how you can get a job in Australia, the mining industry, resumes, recruitment, anything that you need to know. Are you too old? Hi, short staff with Mark Anthony. Hi guys, thanks for joining. I'm just waiting on my special guest, but we're talking about how you can get a job in the Australian mining industry in 2025 the easy way. We're also going to give you potentially access to some free stuff. In fact, there's a ton of free stuff in my stand store anyway. So after this live, if you have any questions, drop them in right now, or you can go and have a look at some of the free guides and stuff that we've got. And we've got a ton of recruitment opportunities that we're looking to fill right now as we speak. So we do have a vacancies tab if you'd like to go and sign up for any of the positions, the mining positions that we've got in Australia. If you're just joining us, I'd love to know where are you watching from so that we can make this live especially suitable for you. Anyway, my special guest has just joined. So if you've got any questions, like I said, drop them underneath, or I'm just going to go through some of the questions that you got, or we are going to ask you. BG, awesome, welcome. Welcome TikTok. Dungog, oh nice. I used to live in Newcastle, so yeah, went to Dungog a couple of times. Watching from Perth. Hey Chuckles, how are you? Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, drop them in. I've got Amanda here from Win-Win. Amanda, how are you?
Hello, I'm just setting up my camera. It fell down, sorry.
All good, all good. Townsville, we've got United Nations, Port Hedland, got a lot of people from all around Australia and the world, which is pretty awesome. So, Amanda, let's get into some of these questions that we've just been bombed with. I'll start if that's all good.
Go for it.
All right. One of the number one questions, especially yesterday when I was talking to Amber from the transport company, that a lot of Kiwis were on, and they're wanting to know, can I get a FIFO job from New Zealand?
Yes and no. You can be depending on the position, but most times if you're after an entry-level role, we're going to say no. An entry-level role is, for those that are watching, is a position that you don't need a lot of technical background to be able to get into it. So we're talking about drillers, offsiters, utilities, trade assistant, that you don't need a trade or a certification to be able to get into the industry. However, so if you are looking for an entry-level role, you're looking for that foot in the door, you're looking for that first start, an entry-level position, you are not going to be able to get a entry-level position from New Zealand. However, if you're a HD fitter, if you're a more technical role, you potentially could be, and it's more likely because they are in high demand. So we do have people in the industry that do fly back to New Zealand. They're doing so probably under the radar from their employers. It's not something that we recommend because there is fatigue issues in terms of your journey to home. You need to be healthy. You need to be well and fit to be able to return to work. So yes, you can, but it's not recommended if you are an entry-level person.
Definitely. And Memphis has just asked a really question. Maybe you could continue on with answering this one as well. Is it hard to get into mining with somebody who just has completed a pre-trade electrical course from New Zealand?
All right. So you're wanting to get like an apprenticeship before you're wanting to get an electrical apprenticeship from New Zealand? Memphis, I would say no.
Add a bit more context there, Memphis, if you can. So what I'm reading into that, can you see that comment there?
Yeah, what it sounds like, he's done a pre-trade electrical course, like a course that's going to lead him into becoming an apprenticeship. That's how I'm interpreting that. And then I would still say no, but what you could do is, if you were wanting to relocate to Perth, you could actually apply for electrical trade assistance and then do some time doing electrical trade assistant and then apply for an apprenticeship in the mining industry. And there's lots of electrical apprenticeships within the industry.
Definitely. And it's not that hard to get in New Zealand. In fact, I'm pretty sure they actually do utilize New Zealand trade certs over here as well for some companies.
Yeah, because it goes under the Australian and New Zealand standards.
Yeah, definitely. Hello to Blessed. What's the breaking news? There's a ton.
I think he means that you look like a newsreader.
Thank you very much. I do get that a lot.
Am I right? Too blessed. Alana, I've just had an email come through. How can I get a dump truck traineeship?
Yep. How can you get it? Okay. Firstly, you need to be in the point of hire. So dump truck traineeships are without a doubt the most sought after job. So you need to set yourself up for success. If you're in somewhere like Perth, Western Australia, you've got a way better opportunity of getting one of these jobs when they come up. You need to have a resume that's optimized for applicant tracking systems. You need to have your Seek and LinkedIn profiles up to date so that employers can actually find you and offer you jobs. And basically, if you've got any relevant experience to dump truck operator roles, then you need to be doing a strong emphasis on that one. Can I just go back to this one that Tom's asked here about $1,400? I don't think there's anything about $1,400 on our website at all. Is there, Amanda? Look, let's just quickly go through the two different divisions of this business, because we're not just like some labor hire company. We have got our recruitment division, which is a standalone division. You can go onto our vacancies tab, which is on our website, and apply for our vacancies. There's obviously no fees or anything attached to that one. Then we've got our consultation division. So the consultation division is where we do stuff like resumes and stuff like that for candidates. We do have different packages depending on what help that you need. And we've got a really exclusive membership where you get trained by us in all of the ways and how you can actually successfully set yourself up to get any job that you want, right? Have I missed anything?
No, and I think really what the 2 point of difference is that we get engaged by companies to find people, and people may not necessarily meet those criteria. So we also have the other arm of the division where we help people get into the industry. So that's because we understand how the recruitment flow works. We understand how the system works. So we provide you with steps on how to be able to get into the industry.
Spot on. It's like two hands working together. So yeah, anyone who comes into as well, our vacancies tab, you can go on and check out the jobs we've got available and apply directly in there, because that is the only way. You will not see us generally applying on Seek or Indeed or anywhere like that, because we take internally from the people who are in our vacancies tab, because we know that we're giving you all the correct advice and setting you up for success. Okay, that's a lot. All right, Amanda, here's another one. Can people from PNG or PNG engineers apply for FIFO jobs in Australia?
It depends again. So similar to New Zealand, if you have the ability to be able to work in Australia and you have zero issues with your visa, you have full ability to be able to work in Australia, there is no problems whatsoever. You do need to be in Australia. So anyone that is currently watching that is outside of New Zealand is the exception, because Australia and New Zealand have reciprocal arrangements. Anyone that is watching which is outside of Australia and is wanting to be able to work in Australia and apply for these jobs, you need to be in Australia to be applying for these jobs. You need to have an Australian driver's license. This is mandatory. You can't get an Australian driver's license outside of Australia. You also need to have a police clearance and you need to be able to have an Australian address to be able to get that, and a white card. So you need to be in Australia to be able to do that. Now, some people do in PNG or Fiji and even New Zealand, they do come to Australia, get all their tickets, go back. They have their ability to be able to work and then return once they've got some interviews and things like that.
Yep, spot on. And Rico has just asked about, oh, hi Taylor, how you going? Thanks for joining. Sorry, let's go. Where is that other one? Oh my God, I can't even get back to where Rico's question is. It's just updated. Can you see that one from Rico? It was about, wheels, trucks and rollers tickets. So if you do have your wheels, trucks and rollers, there are a couple of RTOs over here who will say, who cares? You have to give us the money and do the whole course again. If you can get actual video footage of you operating that, then that can be the exception to the rule, where you can get recognition of prior learning. So that is what I'll say to that, Rico.
In regards to, there's just a question back here that I just wanted to answer. So it's better to do the apprenticeship in Australia first rather than New Zealand. No, because the apprenticeship for electrical, so Australia and New Zealand operate under the same electrical standards, and it's the same with, I'm pretty sure it's the same with refrigeration. So you're operating under the same legislation and standards as such. So anything that you learn in New Zealand is going to be applicable to Australia as well. So you can be doing that there. I'm just saying, if you want to be able to get into the industry and you've already done a course, you could come over and get an electrical trade assistant position, which isn't a qualification as such. You're a trade assistant helping the Sparky out, and then apply for apprenticeships once you're in the mining industry. I hope that makes sense, Memphis, and I hope that's the information that you're after.
Yeah, absolutely. He just elaborated, so it's better to do an apprenticeship in Australia? Yes, without a doubt. And what is that website? If you go onto websites like, write this down, MEGT, they have all of the apprenticeships and traineeships Australia-wide. So definitely check that one out, Memphis, and let me know if you need me to drop that again. Okay. Right, where are we up to, Amanda?
So the next question I've got is, what is LinkedIn and how can it help me get a FIFO job quicker?
Oh, LinkedIn is literally like social media for employers. So it's where all the recruiters are. It's where everyone, you can actually go, and let's say if you are smart, and this is what we can actually teach you to do. In our membership, our One Job membership, we teach people how to hack the system and actually go directly to the recruiters instead of doing what everybody else does, which is apply for jobs and just sit back and hope for the best. LinkedIn is literally where you can go to the recruiter and professionally contact them and say, hey, how you going? I've just applied for this job. What's the next process? Or do you know who I can speak to about it? There is a really, really strategic way of utilizing LinkedIn. And if your profiles are set up properly on both Seek and LinkedIn, then there's no reason why employers can't find you and offer you jobs. And that's what happens all the time. We show our clients in our career consultation division exactly how they can do that. And if you have a look at some of our testimonies, some of our clients are literally just within an hour. Martin, I'm talking about, I love Martin. He got headhunted for jobs that he didn't even apply for. So LinkedIn is where it's at, people. If you've got any questions, drop them down.
I'm going to answer the question in relation to qualifications for an admin person. Technically, no, but lots of people do come to us with really high levels of administration experience. The administration experience is not always relevant for a site admin position. What they are looking for is your ability to be able to use programs that book flights and accommodation. So if you were to come to me and say, I've got a background as a travel agent and also administration, you would be really highly regarded. However, what happens is the admin part isn't the main strength. It's the programs to be able to book and accommodate, book flights and accommodation. So if you've been doing that in your admin role, then that's something that we would kind of elevate within your resume and we're in the career consultation division. But it's also just be known that admin and dump trucks is two of the hardest positions to get in the industry. It's not something that we would ever recommend you go straight for. We would always say, hey, apply for these ones and then get into the industry on this one.
Yeah, and elaborate on why admin roles are the hardest.
Because it's cushy and you're sitting inside in the air conditioning and you don't have to clean rooms and you don't have to lift heavy stuff and you get to walk around camp and check on things. It's a really cushy job. It's a really cushy job and you're in the aircon pretty much.
Yeah, and don't forget the fact that a lot of catering companies who have admin roles, they actually promote people from within. So let's say if you're a housekeeper and then you end up like having an injury, a lot of companies will put you on light duties in the admin and then next minute they're like, hang on, why would I be outside housekeeping, like cleaning, 30, 40 rooms today? I can be sitting on my ass in the admin and actually using my brain. So admin are hard to get.
And as someone that came from government, I went in as a utility and I was heckling. I was literally gunning for the admin position from the moment I started applying and I could not get in as the admin. So I went in as the housekeeper and then I still had to do a bit of a round turn. I had to go into the kitchen, then into the bar, then into housekeeping and then into admin. So it does take time.
Yeah, definitely. Chris has just asked, can we apply for offshore? Chris, I think you're in New Zealand. Is that correct? Generally, not unless you're like an HD fitter or you're an HC operator or truck driver. So it really depends, but generally not. If you're anywhere but Australia or New Zealand, that's a hard no. No way, because you need a visa and you need to move without a doubt. Exactly for what Amanda just said about you need an address to get a white card and a police certificate. And employers on their job ads, they stipulate the point of hire, and it's usually Perth, Western Australia, because this is where all the jobs are. So yeah, generally.
Jackson's just asked, would it be better to move from New South Wales to Perth before looking for a mining job? Yes and no. First of all, what I would say is book in for a career consultation. So if you're watching this, what we offer is we offer a 20-minute session with our consultants where we will have you upload your resume, and then we will give you 3 to 4 positions that you should be applying for based on your skills. So we take the information from your resume and what you've been doing, match it up with entry-level positions or positions that are suited to your role, tell you what tickets you need, and then give you a plan of attack on how you should be actually getting these positions and doing that. So I wouldn't say just go move to Perth. I would say make it have a bit of information behind you firsthand so that you're empowered to go, all right, what should I be expecting? Most of the time with our jump starter package people, we want them to get results in the industry within about a month. So have that little bit of understanding kind of thing, and that's kind of how we operate within that. So that's based on an entry-level position.
Yeah, and can I just elaborate for that? Just look at some of the local opportunities as well, Jackson. So around Muswellbrook, Singleton, they are always looking for, if you're within the 80K radius of where the mine sites are, then you've got a better opportunity of actually getting a job over there than if you do move to Perth, but it depends on what job that you're trying to get. Just had a question. How much does it cost for our consultations? For our consultations for our career consultation division, we charge $49 for those. You get a copy of our Career Accelerator Guide, which has discounts on literally everything, RTOs, tickets that you might need. We've got full tutorials on everything, job reviews, resume packages if you need it, and basically everything in between. Oh, hiya, XR girl, how you going? All right.
I've got a question here, which I'm happy to answer. Could you find utility jobs that are only day shift, no night shift? So this is a little bit, I just need to break this down a little bit. So night shift is generally in the kitchen. You'll have a day and a night shift in the kitchen. And depending on the camp size will depend on if they have a night shift, all right? So it will depend on how many people are needed. If you go to a smaller camp, there's probably only 1 or 2 people working within that kitchen, including the chef. And then if you go to a larger camp, there'll be a whole shift. All right. So if you go as a utility, it just depends on the size of the camp. You can always request it. It's not seen as ideal if you're requesting what shifts you want to do when you're starting. But generally, you could expect if you were going to a bigger camp and it's your first swing, I'd probably guarantee that they'll chuck you in the kitchen on night shift to start with. Wouldn't they, Alana?
Oh, ouch. Yeah, it really depends. If you, though, I know people who just have issues sleeping on night shift. I was the opposite. I could sleep better on night shift and shocking on day shift. So if you do find that you're having fatigue issues, you can definitely raise it as an issue, and you're more likely to stay on day shift. So there's a little bit of a hack if you're going out for your first job. Okay, Sucker Molly has just asked, I've got forklift tickets and a white card. What else do I need to get through? The question would be, where are you located and do you have experience on the forklift? Because, yeah, some people go, yeah, I've got every ticket under the sun, but they've got no experience on it.
So, and do you have a driver's license?
Yeah, the driver's license is number one, by the way, guys. If you do not have a driver's license, then most likely you're not going to get a job in the mines, even if it's for a kitchen hand role. So you might need the manual driver's license and potentially the police certificate. If you're over on the East Coast, you might need the standard 11. So drop us a little bit more context and then we can definitely answer for that one.
Okay. There's a learner bus driver over 10 years live in Melbourne. So if you've been a learner bus driver for 10 years, why aren't you a full non-learner? Why are you still a learner? That's my question. And you need to have your full driver's license, including your full bus driver's license. Okay. So, you can't be applying on your P's. You can't be applying on your L's. You need to have your full driver's license, full manual driver's license to be able to book in, to be able to get into the industry. You're always going to find some random that is 17 on his green P's that knows somebody. All right. But the general rule is you need to be 18 and over and have your full driver's license.
And to get a bus driving role as well, you need your HR license and your PTD authorization. So if you don't have that, Well, firstly, maybe just book in for a consult with us and we can go over. If you've got any questions that are really relevant to yours or really specific to yourself, you can always book in for a consult with us. In 20 minutes, we literally, you walk away with a step-by-step plan of exactly what you need to do, what you need to get, and your way into the industry the quickest way.
I've got a few questions that have come in here. Can you take your dog with you looking to work in Moranbah? If you're looking to work in Moranbah and live in Moranbah and be a residential, potentially, yes. If you get a residential property. If you do FIFO and you're looking to go camp, no, you cannot. I'm a qualified diesel mechanic. How can I get into mining? You, my friend, or you have been seeing ads at the moment that are advertising $75, $85, $95 an hour. So you are very highly sought after at the moment. I would be contacting our team, booking for a career consultation. We are currently chatting with someone at the moment who is looking for diesel mechanics. So Camille, if you can please drop our email, info@winwin.com.au. And if you are trying to book in a career consultation, go into Alana's bio or my bio and you'll be able to book in for a career consultation from there.
Yep, same with the one who was asked the question, sorry, I'm trying to go through it all, about the HD fitters. Like, seriously, HD fitters, if you're an HD fitter in New Zealand or anywhere, even South Africa, we get a lot of people from South Africa, you guys are so sought after. It's all about, and we've had guys who are local, like HD fitters on $36 an hour. And it's like, what are you doing, man? You should be on like 70, 80, 90.
Get flown from New Zealand and $85 an hour.
Yeah, so definitely book in for a consult. We can literally there was one guy who went from $36 an hour to got him 72 within a couple of days, honestly. So it's definitely doable. I started as a mine site cleaner, and yes, you can do day shift, but as 6 and 8 and 6. Yes, absolutely. XR girl, spot on. Righto. We've got a question here, Amanda. I'm 18. What jobs can I get?
Any, but it's based on what you've been doing. I would HZR, what I would do is I would look at your resume and I would see what work you've been doing. If you've been working in McDonald's or you've been working in a bar or a hospitality role, I would say utility position. If you're going to tell me that you've been working in your uncle's renovation business or you've been a labourer or you've been a chippy or something like that, I would say drillers offsider, trade assistant. For these, if anyone is watching right now and you have a background in labouring or construction or you're a carpenter and you're like under 30, go in as a driller's offsider. You're going to start at around $110,000 a year. You need to have a HR driver's license. So get that, and you can be literally setting yourself up for the rest of your life as a driller's offsider, or just getting yourself into the industry first as a driller's offsider, starting at 110,000. You need to have your HR driver's license, your police card, and your police clearance, and your white card, and Bob's your uncle.
Just keep in mind though, like to get your HR license, you've got to have held your full license for 2 years.
Correct.
So if you're 18, go out, make sure that you've got your driver's license. That is the number one thing that you need. And then like set yourself up. That's exactly what my 18-year-old niece did. Bang, she went out there and now she's at 20. She's got her first deposit for a house. So that's what you need to be doing in this shitty economy. All right.
HD fitter is heavy diesel fitter.
Law. I have my Australian driver's license, RSA and food handler. What else do I need for a kitchen position? You're good to go, my friend. You need a resume that's ATS compliant. You need to be having your Seek and LinkedIn profiles up to date so that employers can actually find you. These are jobs that they are constantly looking for. You've got to be in the right point of hire as well. So where are you located? That's what I'd be asking.
Kyle, can you move from drillers offsider to plant operations? Yes, and many people do. The first thing I would say is, are you already experienced in plant operations? Because the drillers offsite is not necessarily the first space to go. It's more based if you don't have a background in mobile plant. If you do, but what a lot of people do is go in as a drillers offsider, and then after 6 months, go across to like a water cart and then move across that way. So that's a really easy way to do it and something that lots of people do.
Yeah, and Josh Lewis Brown, I'm 22 trying to get a driller's offsider role. Seriously, just like what Amanda's been saying, it is the job to go into. If I was starting again, I was 18 or 20 and I had my HR license, bang, I would go in there. I don't care. There's females who do that job if you're fit. Like, people are going in there getting cashed up. And then I'll tell you, it's one of the easiest ways to make a sideways career move is get experience as a driller's offsider and then go into a serviceman role. You can go from potentially, 110 to 150K and then plus on an even time roster, jumping into a serviceman after that. So
if I had have known what a driller's offsider was when I went into the industry, I would have done a driller's offsider position. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Because I even though I went into village management, I would have much preferred to be out on the tools and out of the camp.
Awesome. I can see Island Guy. My LinkedIn profile has a recent picture of an orange construction shirt. Good, because seriously, LinkedIn is all about first impressions last every single time. If you're in the One Job membership, I did a deep dive into LinkedIn and how to make your profile stand out. And recruiters are simple creatures, right? If they see you in a high-vis shirt, they associate you with mining jobs. That's just how it goes.
So great job with that.
Yeah, well done. Taylor's just brought up a really great question there, Amanda. I'm a WA teacher but want to switch careers. What FIFO roles would suit my transferable skills?
So there's probably a couple, and we've actually helped a lot of teachers. So there's transferable skills in terms of a lot of the reporting and potentially, depending, like if you've been in the younger ones where you're doing childcare, you're doing a lot of meal preparation, you're doing some cleaning and tidying of the rooms. So what you actually can do is go in as a utility. So we help a lot of teachers. A utility position starts at around 80 to 90,000. And then most people will do say 6 months and then try and move on to other positions that are higher paying. That's on a 2-on-1 roster. I started as that. So I came from government. I had no background and I went from government into the utility position. I worked in housekeeping, bar, kitchen, and then I went into admin, and then I became village manager. So you could also go into village management because you're good, teachers are good at kind of, coordinating people and getting people into. So village management could also be on there as well.
Definitely. And last year we got an educator, her very first job as a dump truck operator for BHP. So the sky's the limit. It's all about finding out what jobs you actually want to do, because some teachers, you're obviously highly intellectual. You can't stand boring jobs like being in a dump truck going backwards and forwards all day long. So it really depends. That's why in our consultations, we get to the root of exactly what your goals are and the best course of action with a step-by-step plan of how to achieve it.
And Telia, if you're a science teacher, you can also be going and doing stuff like a lab tech or a field technician. So you could be out doing sampling and things like that. There's so much that you could be doing. The best thing to do is probably book in for a career consultation and we can have a look, because now that when you talk about science, that's a little bit different. That opens up more doors. So it's really about kind of having that understanding about what your specific goals are and what's the thing. But ideally, guys, our first job is to get you into the industry fast. We don't want you to be sitting around and, applying for jobs and 6 months later, you're still not getting results. Our strategy is to help you get into the industry fast. Then people come back to us and go, okay, I want my next job. What's the next best steps kind of thing? Or how do I go from this wage to this wage kind of thing? So once you're in, it's about networking. So one of the best things that you can be doing once you get into the industry is networking. And that means at breakfast and dinner, you sit with someone different at each meal and you go and introduce yourself and go and network, right? This is how we get those other jobs, because in the dry mess, which is where your kitchen and your dinner is, there's tables there and you'll be able to meet someone completely different at every different opportunity to be able to network.
Yeah, absolutely. Same for you. What up, dog? I got a utility job. What should I do to go to different higher paying jobs? Work out what job you want and suit your personality. Like I always say, right, I had so many opportunities to drive a dump truck. I was like, no way in hell. Right, so I went into the civil route. That allowed me to operate different machinery. I went in, did recruitment, admin, go test out talk to people. Find out the different jobs that exist in the mining industry and what suits how much money do you want to make? That's a big one, right? So if you find out that, that job is paying 110, that job's paying 150, and that would suit your personality and what you want to be doing all day, then just go for it. That's the best way to do it.
And you can always have a look at our YouTube channel and our Day in the Life series, which has a lot of different jobs on there. You might think that, yes, I want a higher paying job, and you might find that there's construction opportunities, but they're on a 4-in-1 swing and you don't want to do 4-in-1. So it's really like what Alana was saying, was about that work-life balance. Anitik has said, I'm a certified HVAC technician in Fiji. Is there any chance for me joining FIFO? Yes and no. So the first thing is are you able to work under Australian standards, Australian and New Zealand standards, being from Fiji, and does your certification cover that? So I'm not sure with Pacific Islands, like if you actual Pacific nations, if you actually fall under the Australian and New Zealand standards. If you do, then fantastic. You could probably just hop over, but you would need to be able to work in Australia, have legal rights to be able to work in Australia, unrestricted, and be in Australia to apply. What you've got to remember, guys, is if you're outside of Australia or outside of Perth or Brisbane and you're wanting to get a position, this is a highly competitive industry. So if you are putting any hurdles in front of the recruiter, which is I'm in New South Wales, I'm in New Zealand, there is literally 2,500 other people that they can go to on the list to be able to see if they can book in for an interview. So in answer to your question, yes, but also no.
Yep, and can I just say again, like just to reiterate, we've got 2 different divisions of the business. In our recruitment division, you can go onto our website and apply for vacancies that we've got. We've got a ton like plumbers, apprentices, we've got local jobs, and some really awesome upcoming opportunities. You can register for those, so when they come out, you get first dibs at them if you meet the criteria. Our consultation division, we literally do work for you. You say, help me to get this job, and we create a plan step by step to make sure that you're going to not mess it up. This Ali's just said as well, I've got my white card working at Heights license, I think. Heights license. Or is that EWP? It should be working at Heights, I think. Driver's license, everything to go, but can't find a job in the industry. That's going to depend on where you're located, what your previous experience is, and also if you're meeting the criteria for the job. And guys, can I just reiterate, right, when you are going to apply for a job, making sure that you meet the criteria is the #1 factor, because every single mining and recruitment company like us uses applicant tracking systems, and these filter resumes. So if the job ad says we want X, Y, and Z, and that clearly isn't listed on your resume, you go bye-bye. Then you're applying for jobs, not getting anywhere fast. And there's a ton of different factors like the point of hire, licenses and qualifications, your experience that's been elaborated on your resume. So all of these things need to be absolutely spot on, or else you're going to get nowhere fast. So I'll just say that.
So
right.
I'm just going to, while you're looking at those questions, I'm just going to talk about that applicant tracking system. So at the moment, we are seeing anywhere from 500 to 2,500 people apply for a position. So if you've got a resume that's being done on Canva, or you've had your sister do it, or you've got a resume that you keep adding stuff to that you got done in 1988 or 1998, it's not going to work. What you need is a really comprehensive but concise resume that is applicant tracking system compliant. This is where it's filled up with the right format, the right keywords, the right information, the right readability knowledge to be able to, so that the AI, the artificial intelligence, can read it. Because when you're applying from that job, not a human isn't reviewing your resume. The artificial intelligence is reviewing your resume to say, does this person have the right information? So if you don't have the right information on your resume, you're not going to get elevated as an ideal candidate. So that's why we bang on about the importance of your resume.
Yep, absolutely. Our company is called Win-Win. It's W1N, W1N. So it's just winwin.com.au if you want to check out our website. There's a pretty conclusive video about what we do and where you need to go so we can help you. Like I said, the vacancies tab, you can just go and apply for any of the jobs that we've got, or if you need help because you constantly keep getting knocked back, that's where you go to our consultation division. We are located in Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, the Philippines, and we've got a team in Canada and also America. Yeah.
So what up, dog? Whatever you do, they make the resume to track in the system. Correct. Yes, that's why we get the results. The other thing to do is go and have a look at our reviews, because our reviews talk about the success that people have and how quickly people have their success. Hey, can I send my resume for review and in case of help finding another job? Ali, yes, we absolutely do a review of your resume and we can do that. So I'm getting the girls to be able to drop our email email in are you doing it now? So our email address is info@winwin, which is w1n.com.au, and we can review your resume for you.
Yeah, make sure you put the one in. So with the word win, W1.
Drop it in there.
Yeah, do we have any jobs available for chefs? Where are you located, mum of the party, and do you have your Cert 4 in commercial cookery? There's always chef jobs coming up, without a doubt. So definitely get on and go to our vacancies tab. Like I said, we only take candidates from our vacancies tab because why? We want to give you the best opportunities to get jobs over candidates who aren't in our thing. And we've also got a membership where we teach you exactly what you need to do, and you get exclusive opportunities to jobs that are off market. So what does that mean? That means they're not going to go on to Seek. They're not going to go anywhere else. They are getting advertised just in our platform. So that's it.
I'm just going to answer Island guys. So we're in Canada. Can I talk to someone from Win-Win? You can talk to us. You just need to book in for a career consultation with our team. We don't have an office based in Canada. I'm sorry. It's on the cards. I'm trying to get Alana to do a world tour. But we're in Canada. So you book in for a career consultation with our team and align it with your hours. All right. So you probably need to work with our hours and maybe do a late night session or an early morning session.
Yeah. Can I just say as well, mum of the party's just said, I did the first stage interview with Sivio the other day, but I haven't heard back. Here is where I want to give you the inside baseball on how you can get the job. Harass them until you hear back, right? If you do the interview and you know who the person is interviewing you, you get that information, then you go onto LinkedIn after you've done the interview. Thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed the interview, or something along those lines. Let me know if you need anything back. You email them. You just say, hey, just following up on the interview that I did. Do you need anything else from me to expedite the onboarding process? Just keep in mind as well, especially for chefs, chefs are so highly sought after. So if you put yourself in the right position, and sometimes you just need to squeaky wheel your way into the job that you want, especially if you're a chef.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Are white cards and working at height done online? White card you can do at online. Working at heights, I don't think so. Oh, look, what up, dog? Their package has some tips, and I think I got the job because of that. That is fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that. Hey there, I live in Melbourne and have a HR license. I want to work in WA. Great. Do you want to give us a little bit more information on what you actually want to do? Are you prepared to move? A little bit more information, guys. If you tell us like what you've been doing, what job you want to do, and that, yeah.
Can I just elaborate on that again? Like, so many people come to us and they're like, hey, I've gone out and got this laundry list of mining tickets. And one thing that we do in our consultation is actually ascertain what it is that you want, what your goals are. And then we say, okay, do you know that you only need this, this, and this? So you might be able to save a ton of money on licenses and qualifications that you don't need. We have RTOs that we work with where you can get exclusive discounts on HR licenses, MC, white cards, absolutely, operator tickets. So that's where, if you are trying to do it yourself, it's like kind of like if you went to the gym and you like, what's the difference between if you have a trainer versus if you don't? If you've got a trainer, you're going to probably get your results quicker, right? That's exactly what we do in our consultation division.
I've got a question for you, which is your favorite question, Alana. I'm a 50-year-old chippy, also have machine experience. Can I get a job at my age?
Yes. Oh, but Scott Smith's 962, it depends on where are you located right now and what licenses and qualifications do you have. So are you in Australia? That's what I'd be asking. But yeah, listen, we work with guys, right? Mark is a prime example. If you watch any of my videos especially, I love bringing up Mark. You can go and check it out in our Facebook group or our Google reviews as well. He's 61 years old. Last year in October, Mark came to us, said the same thing. Look, I'm 61. Can I get a mining job? It's like, yep, of course you can. With our help, we literally work with you hand in hand, make sure that you can't mess it up, and then you are following the procedure down the line so that you're actually going to be successful.
And Mark was one of those ones, like we do get a few that don't follow the procedure. When I say follow the procedure, it's like he was ringing us weekly saying, okay, I've done this, I've done that. And he literally did everything and he got himself the job. All right. So there is literally so much opportunity. If you follow the framework, it's bulletproof. If you don't follow the framework, then you can be looking at going like, this is not working. But our framework is bulletproof.
Correct.
Northern New South Wales have excavator and loader and dozer experience. Oh, yeah. So the 50-year-old. So look, the Northern New South Wales can be a little bit tricky, and that's because you're kind of like you can be highlighting that you're in Brisbane. You'd need to suggest that like when I say you'd need to probably be looking at relocating to Brisbane or looking for opportunities that may be locally around the Toowoomba area and through that kind of region, because Northern New South Wales just falls outside of that little like Brisbane catchment for the FIFO kind of thing. But we do have clients that have had success from Northern New South Wales. So maybe looking for a career consultation.
All right, what's the general starting rate for a green ET and the mines? You're looking at about, really it depends on the site, the roster, whether it's construction, civil, production, or you're going directly into the mining, whether it's an electrical, an HD fitter. But let's say baseline, you're looking at between 42 upwards. So yeah, a lot of different factors. Island Guy's just said, I want to work in underground mining. Amanda, what's your best advice for Island Guy?
Island Guy, first of all, I think he's in Canada. Hang on 2 seconds. I'm just writing back to Scott. Island Guy. So first of all, I think you're in Canada. You'd need to be in Australia. Make sure you've got your white card. Depending on where you're going to go, if you're going to fly into Queensland, you'll need to get your standard 11. You'll only need a driver's license for yeah. So you'll need a driver's license. You'll need a white card, a police clearance, and just have a really probably good understanding of what underground's like. It's not for everyone. Make sure you do some research on that. It's not for everyone, but there's great opportunities, and we are really there's a lot of underground mines ramping up now. So just make sure. Now, if you are part of the One Job, you'll be able to see that there's an underground mining course coming up in that, where we show you everything there is about underground mining and what to expect, the machinery, what you can expect on rosters, like what happens in an emergency, all of that type of information, and that's in our One Job community.
Definitely. And we've also got the top 5 entry-level jobs and the easiest ways that you can get them. There's a ton of different courses, like how to optimize your Seek profile and get jobs without applying. Same with your LinkedIn. We've also got our one-of-a-kind Real My Resume, which is we teach you how to create a video resume, and then we show you how to send it out to 10,000 pairs of eyes in one foul swoop. So this gets you right in front of all of the recruiters who you want to see your video resume. And Taylor's on if you want to invite her while I answer this one from 1001. Is it true you need to know someone to get into the industry? Absolutely not. All 3 of us are probably prime candidates. I did not know anyone when I did. I just followed a framework, and we lay out a framework in that to be able to help you understand what you need to do. So we are being joined here by Taylor as well, who's part of our career consultation division. Hi, Taylor. Hey, Taylor.
Hi, looks like we're matching.
So Taylor's just finished a career consultation. And what was their questions in relation to their career consultation, Taylor?
Relocation, famous one that we always get, and wanting to get onto site admin. So had somewhat some experience behind them, but not the specific programs that you typically get asked for when you are going for administration roles in FIFO.
Awesome.
Right.
We've got this one from Himothy, right? I've got my HR license, haul truck, bog quarter, standard 11 Moxie, right? So it's ticketed up to the max. What are some questions that you guys would ask Himothy, especially in the consultation side of it, Taylor?
Sorry, I missed the start of that.
I would ask
HR.
first of all, Himothy, have you got experience with those, or have you just gone out and got the tickets? Because if you've just got out and got the tickets, I would say you probably, if you have a look at any of the positions, especially when it comes to haul truck or dump trucks, you're looking at, they want 12 months experience. That's why we always suggest don't go out and get those tickets first. Book in for a career consultation first and understand what's the best way to get in as an entry level. You're not the only one. A lot of people go out and do that. But if you do have the experience, then that's going to tailor where our answers go. But initially, if you don't have the experience, it's going to be really hard to get a dump truck position without the experience.
Yep.
100%.
One for Taylor. We've got Island Guy. I'm currently a fireman also. Is that beneficial?
Yeah. So are you 100%, because you would be mechanically minded, you would be operating, I'm assuming you're operating the HR fire trucks. You would have to be pre-starting the hose. You'd have to be making sure that you are following all of the health and safety requirements. So yes, would be highly desirable for FIFO environment. We just would need to make sure that you have an applicant tracking system compliant resume and the right qualifications for the job that you're trying to achieve.
Can I just
Is
say
it
as
based in
well,
Canada?
if you're
I'm trying
working
to
as
see.
a
Oh,
fireman, right, there is a job called an ESO, right, an emergency services officer.
mm,
People who are working like in fireman roles or like ambulance officers, they walk into those roles because you've got the skill set required. And especially Island Guy wants to go underground, so that could be a perfect opportunity for you to actually look into that, Island Guy.
But Island Guy, I
Island
just
Guy.
stalked your profile and it says that you love the ocean. Just so you're aware, a lot of these mine sites are nowhere near the ocean. All right.
I also love the ocean. Island Guy looked into sponsorship or spoken to
Don't
if
think so.
he's eligible for working holiday visa?
Island Guide, but go up into my standstill, book in for a consult with Taylor, and she'll go
Mm.
through all of this with you. In fact, all of you go do it right now. In fact,
Yeah.
we've got 69 people on this live. If you want to get advice like this for free, make sure that you're following all of us, right? Myself, Taylor, and Amanda, we all put out a ton of content to help answer your questions. We are very astute on answering your questions as well as we can and giving you the right advice so that you don't hear all this bullshit about, you can
Yeah.
get like what is it? A bar job paying you $180,000. Yeah, no, you
So
can't.
drop your comments below, drop your questions below, and we can help answer them for you.
Yeah, cool. So back to these questions. Karen's just asked, is my work experience transferable? Retail, warehouse, site manager, 15 years, female, Perth licenses.
Yes.
Itching for this.
Absolutely, especially all of those. So I'd be like, if you booked in for a career consultation with me, I would say, I'm just looking at this, I would say be aiming for either hospital, I would be aiming for utility site, utility, warehouse, logistics, storeman. You could even be looking at if you're like apprenticeships as well. There's lots that you can be applying for.
Sorry, keep up. I'm just answering questions here. Go for it.
Okay. We are in the middle of nowhere, XR girl. Yes, we are. That's right. Like, what is so you're going to be surrounded by heat and plenty of flies.
Lots of flies.
Do you have a job as a seafarer? No, not in the FIFO industry as such, potentially offshore. If I want to apply, do I have to go back to Fiji and do so?
Hey, you need to be in WA without a
I need to
doubt.
be in Australia to apply for the jobs.
Yeah, all right, Taylor, tell us, ladies. Chuff has asked, I need help getting into offshore jobs. So what are the questions that we'd be asking in the consultation?
So first, where are you based? Obviously be based in WA. Are you willing to invest in some tickets? Because unfortunately for offshore, you do need to invest in what's called a Boysiet. And that is quite expensive. You definitely need to be physically fit. If you're going in for entry level positions, because a lot of oil and gas offshore is quite physically demanding. I would also be open to applying for any surface roles as well, just to get some kind of FIFO experience while you're also concurrently getting all of those tickets that are required for offshore and then also applying for offshore. I'd be asking, are you willing and able to pass a medical? Are you willing and able to purchase these tickets and licenses that are required for these positions? Are you open to other opportunities, surface mining as well as offshore?
And some of the offshore tickets, you're looking at like 4, 5, 6 grand. So like some people, that's why we say to people, come have a chat with us first, because it is hard to get into offshore and we have no idea what you've been doing, Chuck. So it's hard for us to say, oh yeah, you can get an offshore job, because it's going to depend on what you've been doing for your previous experience. So
Yeah, in a consult, we definitely will go over your current skill set, what your resume looks like as well. So do a bit of a health check on your resume, making sure that it's applicant tracking system compliant. We'll give you some guidance and advice. We obviously have resume packages available to make sure that we're tailoring your resume to your goal. And then we also provide you a two-part plan. So not just one direction, but what are your multiple, options to get you that end goal.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to answer 1001 again. Drillers offsite, do you need a HR license to be successful? Not always, but 99% of the time, yes. We would not suggest be applying. Like, I don't think you're going to have luck, especially in this market, if you don't. There are some, it's just very rare. You are driving a service truck as part of your role, so it's probably one of those things that is really essential. The other thing is if you don't have it, there's going to be 2,000 people that have applied for that job that do have it. So you just kick it, like if you're not going out and getting it, you're just not going to get a look in. So that is the other one. The other one I'm going to answer is, a criminal record affect anything? Yes and no, depends on the charge and how recent it was. If it's something that was like you're in your 30s or 40s and it was like when you were 16 and you did something stupid, not necessarily, depending on how stupid it was. But if it's more recent and it was like a DUI and you're going for a driving job, absolutely, yes, that is going to impact. But it all just depends on how recent and what job you're going for and what the charge was.
Can we go and let's do a group answer of these two questions. So Adrian, Elaine and Wentworth have both said something very similar. Work as a factory hand. Is it possible to work as a trade assistant? I live in Brisbane. And hi, I'm from Canada. I'm moving to Australia in January next year. What tickets do I need for FIFO? First question, Taylor.
Okay, so with that experience, 1000% you could work as trade assistant, back in warehousing roles, or even drillers offsider. It really depends. So within Brisbane at the moment, obviously WA is where majority of production is going on. So we would say if you have the means to relocate, definitely. However, Brisbane, there is a lot of work going along Queensland as well. With regards to what your goal is, so if it is trade assistant, you will need your working at heights, confined spaces and gas test atmosphere, as well as your driver's license and police clearance and white card. So you do need to invest in a few tickets to get that goal. I would also look into FIFO shutdown trade assistant work as well, just to open up more job opportunity. But yeah, 100% with your skill set, you definitely can go for trade assistant work.
And when it comes to looking at trade assistant tickets, you need the white card, police clearance, working at heights, gas test atmospheres and confined spaces. And then when it comes to the guy that said he's moving from Canada, what we would look at is the three minimum tickets that you need for any type of position is your Australian driver's license. So you would need to get that changed over to the Australian driver's license, your police clearance, which needs to be an Australian police clearance, and your white card. They're the three mandatory for any position. And then anything above that and beyond that is aligned to the position that you're applying for.
And that's
the best way to get
consultations.
Yeah.
Because everyone comes over and it's like, what tickets do I need to get a mining job? And it's like, well, what job do you want? What have you been doing? Where are you moving to? Because if you move to the east coast of Australia, you're going to need a standard 11. If you go to WA, you don't need one. So it really depends what jobs you can get and what jobs that you want. So that's why it's worth booking in for the 20 minutes. You get to chat to the lovely Taylor and our awesome team where we can literally say, all right, we can answer your questions. And for you, what's that, Wentworth? We would say exactly that. What job do you want? How much money do you want to make? Have you thought about this job opportunity? This is what you're going to need. Here's where you can go get them cheaper than if you go try to do it yourself. So
Yeah, 100%. I was literally talking to two people from the UK, two clients from the UK. They, we could have saved the money if they booked in a consultation because they went out and they got water cart, Moxie ticket, every ticket underneath the sun, but they came from a retail background and they thought that they were just going to walk into a water cart position. Sometimes, you can get that golden ticket and it can happen, but most likely come and have a chat to us first because it's going to save you money in the long run.
Yeah, just quickly, we've got 81 people on here. We've got 8 minutes left. Drop any questions that you've got and make sure you're following all three of us for content to help you get employed. And we do these lives all the time as well. Amanda, we've got looking at FIFO from New Zealand. Do you want to take this on? I know you love this question.
Yes, I do. And then I'm going to get to Adam at Sydney because Adam has just asked another question. So first of all, let's go to the question in relation to New Zealand. So if you're applying for an entry-level position, which means that you're applying for a job that you don't need a lot of technical background or a lot of qualifications for, and you're applying from New Zealand, you're not going to have success. Unless you're a qualified trade like a HD mechanic, a fitter or something like that. So if you're applying for, say, an operator role from New Zealand, it's really unlikely. At the moment, we are seeing this is probably the most competitive we've seen in the industry. And our clients get results because they follow a framework, right? And they follow the framework to be able to book in for a career consultation and then follow the framework of the advice that we give them. So if you're applying from New Zealand, I wouldn't like your luck if you go in for an entry-level position. Book in for a career consultation and we can provide you with really great advice in relation to how you should be setting yourself up and what you need to be doing. Second, in relation to Adam at Sydney, I've applied for 200 positions in the last 4 months, but unfortunately not a single reply. Adam, if you're in Sydney and you're applying for FIFO positions, I'm going to probably make an assumption, a pretty bold assumption. That's probably a reason why. The applicant tracking system works, guys, that when we say you need to be looking at relocating to Perth or Brisbane, the reason is that the applicant tracking system is going to kick you out as an ideal candidate if you don't have the right address, if you don't have the right keywords, if you don't have the right format of your resume. That's why we have the career consultation division. So if you're just flinging things out there and just hoping to apply for positions, then it's not going to work because it's not a strategy. You're just hoping and wishing to get a job is not going to get you a job. So Adam at Sydney, I would suggest booking for a career consultation with our team and have actual strategy applied to this, because we have a lot of clients from New South Wales that have success after they actually go through the process of understanding how the recruitment pipeline works and what happens. So we do, yeah, so you're in the wrong place.
Definitely. And guys, can I just say, if you would like to book in for a consultation, we charge $49 for these. You get a copy of our $300 career, what is it called? Accelerated guide with a whole lot of discounts on everything, RTOs, tickets if you actually need them. And by the end of that consult, you walk off knowing exactly what you do actually need, instead of just buying all these tickets that you don't need and are not going to open any doors for you. So that is why we do the consultations, to save you a ton of money. Our email address is littered everywhere throughout this live here, guys. Or you can go up into my stand store, Amanda's or Taylor's, and book in with us there. Or just shoot us an email. It's easy. All right. Kayla, do you want to do this one? Mr. Nobody has come in with, what are the requirements that we must fill to enter that company? Oh, God.
So if you have a look on Seek when you're applying, they will stipulate what are the entry requirements. So depending on what job you're going for, it will definitely have a list there on what you need to meet. Every single mining job, you do need to have your police clearance, you need to have your driver's license and your white card. Depending on the role will determine if you need to go and invest in your HR driver's license, if you need to get your working at heights, your confined spaces, your gas test atmosphere. So moral of the story is book in a career consultation so we can tailor it towards what your actual end goal is.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right. Any little Gaz? No, we work online. So the best thing to do is book in for a career consultation, as we've just pointed out. So if you go into any of our stand stores and bios, you'll be able to book in and book in for a chat with us there. So that's probably the first thing to do. How hard is it to get housing in WA? It depends. Are you a family looking to relocate, or are you a single person? If you're a single person, FIFO, not an issue. We are seeing some things are getting easier as well. We're seeing it definitely in Queensland, and I know that it's happening in Perth as well. Any job for a student who is on a student visa? No. Okay, this is the second time this question has come on, because you have restrictions in terms of how long you can work. What I'm saying is you can only work 25 hours, I think. You can't have that type of restriction in terms of that. Alana, I've got a question for you. So going to Kaylin Mining and doing the training courses won't help you to get entry-level positions?
Depends on what entry-level position do you want, right? Because I love Kaylin and we have a joint venture with them, without a doubt, because some companies will ask you for the water cart, like, roller, loader, grader ticket. And Kaylin Mining are the best in the business, because you actually get on site on a live quarry training, instead of just some of these RTOs where you're at the back of some dude's yard, right? So I'm not saying that it won't get you in. It definitely can. And you need the rest of the puzzle though. So you need to make sure, like, what have you been doing for work currently that is in relation to that? And is your resume tailored so that you can actually go and get these jobs? What we like to do as well is give people multiple job opportunities. So people go, oh yeah, I want a dump truck traineeship. It's like, yeah, but have you thought about a serviceman? Have you thought about potentially civil? Have you thought about this? This is where we give you as many options as possible to get your foot in the door as fast as possible, because it is a tough market at the moment. 2025 has been brutal with all the economic situations. So if you do not have the edge over all the thousands of people that you're competing with, you're going to get nowhere fast. So look, I always say book in with us before you spend 1 cent on any mining tickets, because firstly, if you do need them afterwards, we can get you discounts with Kaylin Mining, with some of the other RTOs that we use Australia-wide, instead of just chucking money and hoping like hell it's going to get you in your foot in the door, which it won't.
And just on that, I think it's also really important to note that you can, if you're wanting to be an operator, then there is potential that you can be getting that, but you can be waiting a long time. Like, what's the most important thing? Are you wanting to be able to get into the industry fast and then move around, or are you prepared to wait for that operator role to come up and continually might be rejected because you don't have the experience? That's the type of questions you need to ask yourself. But Kaylin is very good, and we do work with them.
Definitely. Guys, we've got a minute left, so make sure you're following all of us. And yeah, for more content, we're going to be doing another live probably, I don't know, maybe next week. And so drop any questions, drop any questions in any of the videos that we do, and we'll answer it with the video for you. So yeah. Hi guys, MC operator from New Zealand. Are there options? Absolutely. Taylor, do you want to take this one?
I'm just replying to someone, but yes, so MC operator, yes, of course, you are highly sought after. So if you have an MC driver's license, but you're from New Zealand, have you moved over already, or have you been applying while you're over in New Zealand? But yes, definitely, there is so many opportunity for our MC drivers. So again, booking a career consultation, I'm about to drop in the email in the chat, so you can book that in with us, so we can have a deeper look at your resume if you have been applying, and that will explain why you're kind of hearing crickets. But yes,
yeah,
definitely.
MC licenses will open up a ton of doors. There's a couple of companies that are flying guys from New Zealand to Port Hedland to actually operate MCs if you've got the experience there, run it up. Pedro, question, hang on. Sorry, you have plenty of experience. Why do companies decide to decline you just before the medical? And that's a laundry list of reasons why. They could go with another candidate. They could have filled it internally with their brother-in-law. You could, yeah, there's a ton of different things. So it could be your reference checks. It could be that old mate's got an extra half a year's experience than you. So many different options about that one, like why you could get rejected. So, or the job gets pulled. Like that happens all the time as well. So yeah. A lot.
I actually had two clients I was speaking to yesterday that happened to them, like two separate things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does happen, unfortunately.
Companies lose contracts. Like the list is endless there. Hello there. Can you find me work in New Zealand? Yeah, we actually do like randomly work with some people who are in New Zealand and want jobs in New Zealand. So work with people in Dubai and in France and everywhere. But look, the Australian mining industry is where it's at. So if you want to earn the big bucks, this is where you need to come, especially into Perth. Right, any other questions? Sorry, I just realised that we're 11:01 right now. Hey, Amy, how you going? Project engineer, final question. Let's drop them in quickly. Ladies, how are you going for time?
I've got one in about another 15 minutes that I need to jump on to.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
right though.
Quickly, everyone, if you're not doing it already, make sure that you're following all of us. We're just about to cut this live. Thanks for joining. Thanks for following. Thanks for liking, whatever. Okay, I'm not even going to pronounce that. Project engineer mechanical from New Zealand, current experience in oil and gas and energy generation. Taylor, would that be relevant to getting a job in the Australian mining industry?
Yeah, 100%. We definitely could put you forward for a lot of positions. Again, I'd have to look at your experience, what you've been working on, and what your resume is looking like. So we can make sure we can tailor it directly to those jobs, even if it is any local civil projects as well. So yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And I'll just say as well, if you guys want to go onto our website and apply for some of the vacancies that we've got there, we give priority to the people who are in our vacancies tab and in our database over everybody else. We rarely put ads on seek.com.au. So if we've got any positions that are relevant to you, I'm dropping the email, the website in right now. Go and have a look at that. If you need help getting in, we've got our consultation division that Taylor runs. That's where we work for you to make sure that you're not going to mess it up. Okay, any questions before we
Bless me.
Amanda, hi, I work on the ports of New Zealand driving a Volvo wheel loader. Will that help me get jobs there?
What was the question, sorry?
I work on the ports of New Zealand driving a Volvo wheel loader. Will that help me get jobs in Australia?
Yes, but what you want to do first of all is you want to take a video of yourself wheeling using that, get someone to do it safely, so that when you come over and get your tickets transferred over, you can apply for RPL, which is recognition of prior learning. You don't have to sit your tickets again. If you've got tickets in another country, you still need to sit those tickets in Australia.
Yep.
Whereas if you can show and demonstrate that you can use it, then you can get that RPL.
Perfect. Amy has Sadler's just asked, how do I apply for a job in the mines driving a Moxie? Taylor, you want to give this on a crack? I know you hear this 20 million times a day.
Sorry, what was the question? I apologize.
How do I apply for a job in the mines driving a Moxie?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if you have no experience, you'll be going for traineeships. We would recommend that you would be open to apply for other entry-level positions to then progress into that role. We would probably encourage you to get your HR driver's license, 1000%, your police clearance and white card. You could also move to a smaller town like Kalgoorlie, where they would take on entry-level positions as well, because they would hire more locally opposed to someone living in Perth, and things like that. I would recommend applying for FIFO bus driver or something else to get kind of some mechanically minded or operation experience, and then progress and apply for other positions as well.
Yeah, perfect. Guys, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cut this live short. In fact, not short. We've actually gone over by 5 minutes. So, yeah, if you've got experience working the mines as a Moxie operator, it should be a shoe-in. The HR license will open up a ton of opportunities for you. David, if you want, go connect with me on LinkedIn. If you do actually get a job starter package, we then show you how to do a message. I share it with my 10,000 connections, and bang, your experience is in front of 10,000 recruiters and people working in the mining industry. You're welcome. Amanda, Taylor, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, if you haven't done it, follow everyone, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.